Let me tell you something about Wookiees. If this guy, aka Chewbacca, hits another dude with a rock in the face, he's going to die or be knocked out. That is all. We're here to talk about Star Wars, people. So let's go. Hey, what's good, comic fans? This is Campfire Comics, and we're here to talk about Star Wars issue 11. We're just going to do a single comic in this video. It's going to be a breakdown of this one comic. Normally, they have been dropping Nate several, one or two, but we're just going to talk about this one. I'm Campfire Rich.
And I'm Campfire Nate, and finally this story decided to pick up, man. It's been building. It's been building to this point where we're like, what's going to happen to Luke? You know, you got Han and Leia heading that way. You got Chewie there. And I think this started off, I think it's going to continue for a few issues. But, man, this issue is good. What'd you like about it, Rich?
I like that they're finally all, like, getting back together, and they're setting it up for what's probably going to be a battle. Right, it doesn't seem like it's going to be as easy to just swoop in, grab him out, and dip, because they've already talked about how impenetrable the place is. You got all these bounty hunters and, you know, filth and stuff outside watching this fight. And plus, Han's got a bounty on his head, and people are looking for him, and he's messing with a hut. So, I mean, I feel like we're going to get a lot of fighting. I like that part. I like Chewie getting a little action in there, slapping dudes with rocks and stuff like that. I don't even know how that dude is still standing, because he was in there. There was a scene, and I might put it up on screen here, where, you know, Chewie comes up. He's got all this smoke and stuff around him, and he just comes up out of this cloud, and I was like, oh, it's about to go down now.
Yeah, no, Dengar is one of those, like, bounty hunters that doesn't get a lot of screen time, so it was kind of neat to see him go after Chewie, and I thought it was interesting. You know, he hits Chewie, knocks him down. Chewie's basically stuck there because of some kind of like stun dart, and then who saves him but C-3PO? You know, I mean, C-3PO is like, "Oh, I'll help you." He saved it, and then he hits it and it knocks him out. And then that's when you see Chewie just rise up out of the smoke. Man, it looked bad.
It did.
And then they just go crazy. I mean, it was just a straight up like street brawl between Chewie and Dengar, and it was cool. I liked it a lot. And to point out, because I already said this, I thought something was up with this guy, and this issue proved it, was that Game Master. Remember I said something's up with this Game Master for the hut.
Right.
And he seemed like something was up with him, and then all of a sudden, you know, I forget the hut, but he turns around, dude's gone. And he's talking about, I don't know who he's talking to. He said, I mean, it sounds like he's talking to the Empire, but who's he talking to? You think he's talking to Vader?
Well, I don't know, because right after that, it cut to, okay, await further instructions, and it just went to a TIE fighter. And I don't know who's in that TIE fighter, but it wasn't Vader's TIE fighter, you know, the one that we're used to seeing, and it was 3 of them. So I don't know who he's talking to or he's got a plan. Now, if it was Vader, wouldn't that be kind of cool that, like, Vader told the guy, because he kind of trained Luke. It didn't show that in the comics with them actually training him, but he did train him a little bit with a saber to try to get him ready for this battle he had coming up. So it's kind of like Vader might have had a hand in, like, giving Luke a little nudge with his ability. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's
I
don't know if it's Vader or not.
Well, and I mean, from reading the Vader comics, it doesn't. There's no indication for the Vader comics that they're about to meet up.
None at all.
And since they've done a really good job of crossing these two stories together seamlessly, I don't necessarily think it's Vader. I think there's something else going on there. I think we'll find that out. But dude, how bad is that creature that Luke is fighting, man? That thing looks insane.
It does.
I thought it was a Rancor. It's not. It's some other godforsaken beast from Mustafar. You know, that's why they were like, this thing's in Mustafar in the mines.
Yeah.
And on top of that, man, this thing's got like robot arms and stuff.
It had like a
mining.
titanium. It was weird. Like, when he went and swiped it and it didn't cut through it, I was like, I don't know if I'm buying that. They got it where a lightsaber couldn't cut through something. And that, to be fair, the game master did say that's tough to cut through even for a saber. So, I mean, it might be one of those things where you have to, you stick the saber in and let it sit and just slowly melt, like blast doors or something.
I mean, if that's the case, they need to make some armor out of that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, why did Jedi Knights just have armor of that, all the time? But I mean, I don't know. It ended. I loved how it ended. That was the thing that got me. It ended where it looked like Dengar had the upper hand on Chewie, and bam, he gets shot, and guess who's back? Han's there. And that scene it cut to where it's looking at Han and he's shooting him. Dude, that was fantastic. Like it was just a good read, and I mean, it looks like it's really setting up for these next 2 issues to be really epic.
We find out now they cleared up the thing about Han's wife, about we faked the marriage to make it look real, to pretend so that they could pull a job off. So we was always wondering, like, why does she keep calling him husband? Like, what happened there? So they finally cleared that up on how that went down. And something I thought about, they gave Luke a green saber, right? Which we know is not the green saber that he has in Return of the Jedi because he builds that himself. And we know he gets his blue saber back because Vader cuts his arm off. So I was thinking that it was interesting, and this is nothing to do with canon or anything, but the Hutt is a collector, right? He's a collector of all things Jedi. Man, and I thought, like, he's got the lightsaber now. The Hutt, you talking about a collector's edition. This is the lightsaber that Anakin Skywalker built. It was his saber that he used to basically destroy the Jedi, and then it gets picked up by General Kenobi and then passed down to Anakin's son. If that ain't a piece of history, nothing is. That thing is priceless. And I just thought about it. I was like, he got himself a nice little find there. That saber's got some history with it. I've never really thought about it like that before.
And I mean, in reality, he doesn't know all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't. He don't have a clue.
Lightsaber.
I got a clue.
From our perspective, it might be the most important thing that he has.
Yeah.
I mean, we, as the readers. But he's got all these kind of, just all kinds of stuff going on in there. And I think that's interesting that he gives him another saber. It's like that saber he had, for whatever reason, he chose to keep that as a collector's item. He gave him another saber.
Yeah.
So whoever's saber this is, it must be like.
And I don't feel like.
I got a bucket of leftover sabers over here. I'm going to give you one of them.
I don't feel like it was by accident. Like, I don't feel like they wrote that in by accident. That some kind of way that might play. Maybe it's just something else that in the story when Han and them come to get him that they have to go and search for Luke's saber. Because Luke's not going to leave that saber behind. He's going to go get his daddy's saber. And
on top of that, he's got Obi-Wan's journal.
That's true.
Too.
Yeah, he got to snatch that up too.
Was in this. So he's got he has some stuff that he wants back.
Yeah.
I'm hoping before he leaves, man, he raids that collection.
I know you think he'd want to get his hands on some holocrons and stuff like that, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of goodies in there for him to grab. And we know he's hunting down, I don't want to say hunting down relics. I know he goes against that force tree from Shattered Empire. But anyway, that's what we got today. That's the review over the comic. I hope y'all guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys are reading this edition because Star Wars and Vader are some of the better Star Wars comics they got out there. Shattered Empire is the best, but it's finished, and so is Lando. So pick those up if you haven't read them. A link will be down in the description to our Twitter. You can follow me at Comfire Rich. You can follow Nate at Comfire Nate. Look, browse through the channel. Check our other stuff out. We do Arrow. We do Flash. We do Walking Dead. We do other comics. We do a whole lot of stuff and all things Star Wars. So, till next time, people, we out.
See ya.